All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in here. This is the last time we're going to be able to talk and get together here today, but you're going to stay right there. Don't touch a dial. Don't move anything, because at the top of this hour, we got the Cow Guy Close. And boy, folks, there's a lot to talk about. We have three great guests. We have the best guests on financial TV. We're going to go through some stuff that we think you should know about. And there's a lot to talk about, too, with our economy, the weather, you name it, geopolitical wars. There's a lot of stuff. It's not going away anytime soon either, is it? But if you can't make that and you had to miss it, you know what we do? We put it on the radio for you, just so you have a chance to at least listen to it. And that's late afternoon, early evening. We put it at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern on Rural Radio, Sirius XM Channel 147. But if that happens to land right in the middle of your dinner time, well, we realize that, and we put it on again one more time for you. It's going to be on at 2 a.m. Central, 3 a.m. Eastern, right in the middle of the night, when you probably might be coming home from a good time out. Who knows? But that means we give you two places to listen to it, one place to watch it. And if you want to watch it, just stay where you are. Don't touch a thing, because we're going to be having that on in exactly 16 minutes from right now. So let's take a look and see what these prices have got in store for us. We'll go right to the corn and see what that's got. We've been down all day, and we still are. 421 3/4 is the last in Dees. That's down 4 1/4 cents. It's 2.5 cents off the low of the day, though. We've had about almost a 9-cent. What's that? 9-cent change. So 9 cents is a decent range, but we're right to 2 cents off the low of it. March down 4 cents to 438 3/4. Couldn't remember the word range. I don't know why that happened. 436.5 is the low. We're at 438 3/4. So 438 3/4 is last in March. 421 3/4 is last in Dees. We're down about 4 cents on the day there, so that's going to give you an idea about what's been happening in those markets. Soybeans, real quick, 16 cents lower. Now we've rallied back. 1017.5 is last in Nove, and we've got a Jan board that's down 16.5 cents to 1036 even. Wheat in Chicago, that's up here. We got some green arrows, 3 1/4 cents better in Dees. 595 3/4 is last there. March, it's up 2.5 cents to 619 even. All right, how about hard red wheat in Kansas City? Penny and 3/4 better there. Look at this. We got some green arrows in the wheat markets. Dees hard red is up to 605 last. March trades at 621.5. That's some pretty good going. Spring wheat, Minneapolis, a penny better there. 645 1/4 is left. That's Dees. We got a 3/4 cent rally in the March to 666 1/4. That's the spring wheat. And then finally, cotton. That was lower all day today. We're 155 points lower now in Dees to 71.98. Let's bring in our next guest analyst, Ted Seifried, Zaner Hedge. He's coming to us in Chicago. Ted, thanks for being on. All right. What say you? I mean, what's top of mind?
Yeah, I mean, we've got markets under pressure here today, Scott. I think a lot of that is coming from the crop progress report that we had yesterday. We've got harvest pressure. We've got wide open weather for that harvest. And there's some bushels that are making their way to market, as there needs to be. We know that we're really oversold for this crop coming in. We didn't have those summer wraps did the previous summer to get our orders hit. So a lot of it's coming off of combine. And it didn't seem to really be happening for the first quarter or 30% of harvest. But now, as we are limited on space, there needs to be some bushels coming to town. So that's part of it. Now, we have had a pretty significant bounce off the lows that came just after 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock Central Time. Apparently a bit more of an escalation over in the Middle East. That was affecting crude oil. Crude oil had about a $2 bounce in that time frame. And the grains have somewhat followed suit. They do have, exposure to energies. So that's nice. But will we retain that through the end of the day is the big question. Now, soybeans have bounced off their 50-day moving average. That's an obvious level to have a sort of an intraday bounce. But how much closer can we get back to unchanged by the end of the day? And that's really the question as we creep into the final 30 minutes, or actually less now, of trade here today, Scott.
Trading heavy, that's for sure. No stimulus out of China either. That disappointed some folks. So, yeah, you're right. And then it's harvest. I mean, it was a gift horse that we shouldn't have been looking in the mouth when we got that rally. That's for sure. I'm not saying it can't happen again, but the funds, they're not short that anymore really. So that one might have flown the coop. All right, stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Ted Seifried. He's with Zaner Hedge. He's in Chicago, Illinois. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these livestock prices before we go home, because when we close them here, they don't open again until tomorrow morning, when you'll be with Tony St. James. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got going on in live cattle. I've got that one pulled up for us. October's up $1.07. 188.55 is last time off the highs. Dace is up 77 cents to 187.80. That's the live cattle. Let's go to the feeders. We got some more green here, about $1.15 on average across the board. $1.50 higher, 150 is October. 250.35 is last time off the high there. Noves up $1.07 to 250 spot 22. How about lean hogs? Let's take a look at that one. Lean hogs is up 20 cents in October. 84.17 is last, and then we got a D sport up 35 cents to 77.17. We're up anywhere between, say, 22 to 35 cents across the board there. All right, I saved us 120 seconds, 2 minutes there, Ted. What are your thoughts here on these livestock prices?
Man, we keep going. You know, I mean, it's interesting. We've gotten really everything in the livestock sector is now getting extremely overbought. But we keep inching higher. You know, to this point, hogs have taken back all of the losses that they had since May. This is the highest we traded since middle of May. For cattle, it's the end of July. For feeder cattle, we're getting there. We've almost closed that big drop that we had at the end of July into August. They're the ones that have been lagging behind. And you know, I like it when we can say the feeders are the leaders. I'm not big on adages, Scott, but that's one that I've always kind of liked. Feeders had not really been the leaders in this scenario. Yes, they've come up, but it's been the fat cattle that have been the real leaders to the upside. So it makes you wonder, as we get into some very key resistance here, if this might be getting close to a near-term high, and we might see a bit of a deeper correction. I think it is a good idea for producers to look at how far we've come off the lows in the last 3 weeks or so, and realize that there is a fair amount of downside potential if this thing were to just even correct, let alone maybe be the high here for the rest of the calendar year. There's a lot of concerns about the economy. There's a lot of global unrest. You know, there's all of these factors that could be a negative thing for the cattle market, but haven't really affected the trade for a few weeks now. I wonder if we're looking a gift horse in the mouth to not, you know, not too much of a pun there, but yeah, I just think that now is a really good time to look at ways to protect the downside.
Hey, you're there to keep people out of trouble, not to try to have them hit home runs, right? And I agree with that 100%. And, you know, we got record short sentiment in bonds, so yields have kind of squeezed on us here. Record long sentiment when it comes to the equities. So, I mean, we could see some big corrections here, and that could sweep up these livestock prices real easy. So you're right. I totally agree. You got to make sure you got some protection. Thank you very much for coming on. Ted Seifried, Zaner Hedge, coming to us from Chicago. Bring it back home. And head it over to Suzanne just one more time.
Great points on that, too, right? Not here to hit a home run.
No, I'm here to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.